welcome. And welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. If you're new, thank you. If you're a current subscriber or if you're back, also thank you. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all of the things that help me get some traction in the algorithm, because isn't that just life, right? Algorithms. Anyway, I wanted to do this quick intro. I did not do this on the Scorpio video. That's okay. But I wanted to do this quick intro because it's 2023 and we are no longer going to assume that people know things without us actually telling people those things, right? And asking for what we want. So I do want you to subscribe to the channel. I want you to come back, press the notification thing, bell thing, so you know the videos are posted whenever they get posted. I would love that. Also, I do have an Etsy store. The link is below, because in true manifesting generator form, my soul cannot just have one thing to focus on. I have to have a bunch. So I do have that. I actually have 2 Etsy stores. One of them is on vacation for now. What else? I am working on getting personal readings back up and running since I've been back, but also just kind of trying to surrender to the flow of that. I mean, I know that'll come exactly when it's meant to. Was there anything else? On Instagram, I post daily, quickie energy reads, like, tarot updates. I was posting those on YouTube, but like on YouTube Shorts, but there's like a 60-second limit to those, and they've just been longer than that. So my Instagram is going to be linked below as well, so check that out. What else? I thought that there was more, and now I'm like drawing a blank, because that's what happens when you are a little vulnerable, I don't know. I guess I'm going to leave it there. If there is anything else, I'll mention it at the start of the video. Great. So I just had my hand in some potting soil. So I just want to make sure there's nothing, my nails aren't all super dirty. So I usually go in in order for these readings, but this time I didn't really want to do it that way. So instead I wrote all of the zodiac signs and human design profile numbers on a piece of paper so that I don't have to decide which one is next. So we'll see. There we go. Let's see who this is. 4-1. First profile reading since being back. Great. So I'm just going to read a little blurb that I found on humandesignTools.com. And of course, I'll link it in the description below. Because there's a lot of great information on the website, and then we'll pull an oracle card just to get an overall vibe. And then of course we'll get more information with the tarot. So the 4-1 profile, first of all, is the rarest profile out of them all. You guys are kind of the unicorns of the human design profiles. And the 4 is the opportunist line. The 1 is an investigator line. So you are an opportunist investigator. And what it says is, you know who you are, and you have your own internal sense of right and wrong. Your life is all about sticking to your own truth and sharing the findings of your investigation about life with your close community. You may be known for externalizing everything you take in. Don't let anyone stop you. Remember that it's okay to make changes in your life slowly. When you feel like you've lost your passion or identity, always go back to the energy of your personality's sun gate. It's extra important for you. And that's definitely the thing that you want to check out. And if you don't know, your personality sun gate is the right side first number, the first number in black. So I'm assuming that you probably have already pulled your human design body graph. I'll link a website below. Like, I just use Joven Archive to pull charts for the most part. I use Genetic Matrix for, like a deeper dive, but just to pull up a chart, I use Joven Archive. But looking at your personality sun gate and reading into that a bit further can even help you focus, I guess, is like the word that kind of keeps coming to mind. You guys are the only fixed profile as well, so it's so important for you guys to follow your own authority. You know, like following other people or doing what other people are doing, it probably doesn't feel good for you. Who's a 4-1? Tom Brady is a 4-1. I'm trying to think of, because I think it helps to kind of study like other people because it almost kind of helps you like recognize certain things within yourself. And that might be that first line investigator, because I'm a 5-1, so I have that first line also. So it just kind of helps me, like if I can recognize a certain thing in other people, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how that works. We're just getting one oracle card for the overall vibe for our opportunist investigators. It does actually have to fall out. Release. I was actually just thinking in my head before this came out, I was just thinking in my head, like maybe I should grab a different oracle deck for the profile readings, because I've been using these obviously just for the zodiac signs, but as soon as I started thinking that, this popped out. It's like, no, no, use us. So we have release. I get this energy of surrender for one, but more so showing up, because it kind of looks like this figure is coming out of the weeds, like literally coming out of the weeds, right? And there's all of these butterflies here, which signify transformation, and just their posture very much like heart forward here. 27, that breaks down or simplifies down to a 9. So 9s are generally completion, like individual completion. It also even looks like they are taking, it even looks like they're taking a deep breath. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Ugh. But like their mouth is kind of open. And I love this, the concentration of the light right here in the front. So we'll get some tarot cards and expand on the story, of course, but this definitely feels like if you've been, there's a couple different ways that can go. I mean, if you've been, kind of in a cocoon, like reinventing yourself or doing a lot of like kind of deep healing, deep discovery, if you have been looking into human design a bit more, the first couple years, it's the whole thing with human design is this huge deconstruction process, right? It's recognizing that you've been conditioned to be a certain way that is generally not in alignment with your individual human design. And when you start reading about it more and more, it's so validating. At least it was for me, and it still continues to be, because it's like, oh my God, these things that I thought were inherent flaws are literally part of who I am. And these things about myself that I thought I had to manage or hide or whatever, right? Like, no, that's part of what makes me unique and what makes me who I am. So especially with that 4-1 profile, you know, recognizing that you really do have to march to the beat of your own drum. We need 6 cards here. I feel like I've been shuffling for like a while. I ask the cards before every reading if they want to do the reading, just to be sure we're not sitting here forever shuffling. So 6 cards for our opportunist investigators relating to release. What are we releasing? We have the King of Pentacles. That's a good start. Talk about authority. You know, I mean, kings are leaders. Also, Pentacles having to do with, how many? Perfect. I literally was struggling to do the math on that for a second. I'm not entirely sure how these came out, but this is the way that we're going to put them. Beautiful. Oh my. Ooh. Beautiful. This is so good. I wonder how, you know, things have been for you guys. But it appears like you're going into a really abundant time. And it could be because of this release here. And this is almost like, you know, I'm getting this feeling of it being a reminder. Like, you know, if you have a tendency to kind of get stuck in your head, which we have no air, the Fool might actually be air. Let me see. Yeah, the Fool is air, but very little air out here. So, which is great, because also in the realm of human design, we're not meant to make decisions from the headspace, because the headspace is technically a pressure center. So, you know, you get this thought or whatever, and then you like immediately feel the pressure behind it to act on that thought or do something with it. And instead of, you know, allowing that thought to come in and then allowing it to go through the filter of your strategy and authority. So again, you know, this feels like just this reminder when if you get to a point or feel a bit heady or feel a bit worried, nervous, fear, doubt, you know, all of those things, just, it's almost like allow yourself to release even more, surrender even more to that fear, to that doubt, you know, feel it and do it anyway. Because, you know, and like I was saying, with this feeling or looking like, you know, they're coming out of the weeds here, you could be kind of making that conscious decision to show up more authentically, you know, like instead of trying to be a certain way to fit into a certain box, it's like, you know, no, I'm going to show up exactly how I am. And that could just be a pinch, you know, that could be a dollop, you know, it could be a whole scoop. You could be going all in, right? I mean, and it doesn't matter on that spectrum where you're at. All of it counts. So let's get into this. I love how we start with these 2 Pentacle cards. We have 2 water. The Hanged Man is water also. Water. I mean, you could be a water sign. You could be Earth somewhere in your chart. Doesn't have to be at all. I'm just pointing that out. So like I said, we start with the King of Pentacles here, who is at the top of their game. I mean, look at all this money here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be specifically money or monetary things, but you could just be feeling abundant in time, materials, resources. Like this is almost kind of a place that you've been working at getting to. Comfort is what I'm getting from this. But also even like remembering where you came from. This could even be your physical body. I mean, pentacles have to do with the physical realm. So it's also our, like physical vessel in the 3D. So there could even be some improvement with that, or you've been paying more attention to your health. And with it paired with the Knight of Pentacles here, the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight. It's, like you're still seeing progress. It's just slow progress. And this could even have been, when you were in the weeds. This is, I'm just kind of getting this feeling about weeding through what works and what doesn't. And that takes time. Experiment, right? I mean, that's the whole human design process. It's one big experiment. You find out all this information about yourself, and then you just kind of start playing with that information, seeing what fits, researching even, right? I mean, maybe you've been sharing it, like with other people, or thinking about sharing that with other people. I mean, this could even just be a business. This could be wanting to be your own boss. And maybe that's something that you have been thinking about or even working on. And it's taking a little bit longer than you thought, or the process and the steps to get to where you want to go are taking a little longer than what you expected. That's normal. And also, I mean, like this could even just be the two hats that you're wearing. Like, again, being an authority or a leader, you could be getting a promotion or looking to get a promotion. And you're also kind of out there making things happen, because that's what the knights do. Like the knights are the ones that are actually out there in battle, actually out there doing things at the direction of the king, right? And this is not gender related. It's the energy of the card or the suit or whatever. So just make that clear. So, I mean, you could just be very much in the physical world, like out there actually doing things. And then we have the Moon card here. And the moon signifies unexpected events or things that you don't see coming. It's ruled by Pisces, also Cancer, depending on who you ask. So, I mean, you could have significant placements there. You could know somebody, who has significant placements there. But the message with the moon is that it's this message about not getting lost in the process. Like just making sure that you still have that focus on where you're going, why you're doing it, like keeping your intentions in check, like making sure that you're taking steps towards your goal. Because there might come a time where you're just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. Where is this going to go? And again, like even just feeling like a little bit in the weeds here, but there's always this path here that goes through the two towers that are on the moon card. So it's like, just make sure whatever's happening off of the path, just make sure that you are still, kind of taking steps forward. It's one step in front of the other. And all you really have to worry about is the next step. You don't have to worry about the 10th step. You don't have to be worrying about that right now. You don't have to worry about the 20th step. And if you find yourself kind of thinking a little bit too far ahead, almost kind of bring yourself back to this release thing and just be like, okay, well, if that's, the step at step 10. What is the next step that I need to take in order to get there? Or what's the next step that I take in order to not get there? Like, always just kind of bring that focus back to what is right in front of you, because that's what you can actually see is right in front of you, not 10 steps in front of you. And of course, you have the ability to change your mind, change directions at any point. Also, the moon is also very intuitive. So again, like, since we're talking human design profile here, just wanting to constantly remind to bring yourself back to your strategy and authority. Your strategy and authority is going to help you enter into the correct situations, the correct relationships, correct quote unquote. And sometimes, it may be like, what the hell? Like, why am I kind of getting like a green light for this when I cannot fathom why that would be? And that's ego. That's not intuition, because our strategy and authority is very intuitive. It's not necessarily based on quote unquote fact, right? I mean, at least the way that we assume fact. And I love that it's paired with the 10 of Cups, which is fulfillment, purpose. Everybody's needs around you are being met, same that they would with the King here, but this is on an emotional plane. And even like these two symbols that are above the cups here are the symbols of the sun in astrology. So again, that might just be looking at the gate that your personality sun is in and seeing if there's, any kind of additional information that you can derive from that. Because this also has to do with community, interestingly enough. 9s are individual completion. It's like when we recognize that we have gotten what we needed out of the situation. And then when we get to the 10, it's when other people are involved. And the 10 of Cups is usually like family, community. Family, of course, can be biological or chosen, but especially with that 4th line, opportunist, that's all about your network. That's about your community and friendships and sharing what you've learned with that community. So that may be where this transformation is happening, like just kind of recognizing within yourself that you do have information that you want to share with your community. And maybe that has something to do with your personality sun. And again, we have these cards like this is a little bit slower moving, and the Hanged Man is about suspension and delay, but it's purposeful. The purpose of the Hanged Man is so that we can see things from a different perspective. There's an element of enlightenment that comes along with it too, because if you're able to see a situation outside of yourself and outside of your own way of thinking, then, it just expands your potential, and even it expands your compassion. It expands your empathy. So, and I mentioned at the beginning, like being in this cocoon type of thing, right? Because, look at this figure in this depiction of the Hanged Man. They're not necessarily, they have no choice. Like, they are wrapped in this a few different ways, right? It doesn't necessarily look like they're uncomfortable by any means, but they're not really getting out of there without, kind of some sort of help. There's all of these symbols of like runes and stuff around too. So there's this element of protection. And I also love how, on this card, on the moon card, it's a little bit darker. It's clearly nighttime. And then on the Hanged Man card, on the left side, it looks like night. On the right side, it looks like daytime. So again, I just kind of get this feeling about coming out of, which very much so, because the Fool is here telling us, that there is this new start, there is this new beginning, and this is a leap of faith. I mean, there's a lot of trust, a lot of surrender, a lot of release that is expected with the Fool. Because, and especially with this Fool, because there's no stopping the momentum here. Even if this figure was to put their foot back on this cliff here, they would still fall forward because they're already, like, the momentum of forward movement is already happening. So you might as well just go for it. You might as well just surrender to what you want to do. You might as well just try it. You've been putting in all of this work over here. You've been in the weeds. You've been working on this for some time. You've had this goal. You've gone through this, like, you know, you've gone through the moon. Your focus is on what is going to make you and your community or your family feel fulfilled, purposeful. You know, what can you do to be a part of that? You've really been sinking into, you know, how can you do that? What do you need to release and accept about yourself here to get to the point of taking that leap? And you absolutely should. And speaking of community, we have the Three of Cups here, which is about celebration, but it's celebration with other people. So this is, you know, like the right people, like, you know, you're going to work with the right people want to work with you. It's having the right support. It'll be there for you. And it's almost like everybody kind of has the same-ish kind of goal in mind. We have the Page of Cups here, like, you know, sorry about the imagery. But this is the Ace of Cups that they're drinking out of. And they all, you know, there's enough to go around. The Queen of Wands, a High Priestess. The Queen of Wands, you know, very creative, knows what they want to do, knows how they want to do it, passionate. Wands are about, you know, what actions are you taking? It's about communicating, putting yourself out there. The High Priestess, this is very destiny driven. This is even, you know, that fixed fate aspect of the 4-1 profile. So, I mean, maybe even check out your incarnation cross and read a little bit more even about that. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.